Welcome to Pro Ryde Garage. I'm Bill, this is Sean and Jeff.
Morning.
And we're here to install a kit on a Ford F-150 today.
It's a 2016, just out of the wrapper. So good morning. We're just getting going here. Have a donut. We'll get you going and get the install started.
I'm good. Ready to roll?
Ready to roll. Okay guys, we just wanted to show you a little bit of the difference between the two kits offered for the F-150 and the Pro Ryde line. Basically the one here is the bigger kit obviously, and this is a little bit smaller kit. Sean's going to explain some of the differences between them and why you might want one versus the other.
Well, besides the obvious, depending on your rake, if you have a more rake, this is going to be the one for the larger rake. This is going to be for the smaller rake. Physically, the difference.
By rake, he means
The difference.
measuring your front and rear heights, fender heights.
Yeah, and to get down to a smaller rake, we did have, this has actually 3 components in it. On the top part of it, you have a little plastic thing, and you have, this allows it to drop down lower, and you have the little the grooves around here to allow for the studs to pass up through it to get down to the lower ride height for a lower rake. And then this one is just straight up, just a top plate, and it doesn't have that, so in which you can get a higher if you have a higher rake.
And if you're going to put it, if you're going to go with the rear kit, putting a block in the rear as well, most people are going to probably choose this one, and then you can just adjust the rear and then fine tune it with the front.
Right, and if you're not putting a block in the back and you have a smaller rake, this is going to be the one that's going to be for you.
All right.
Sounds
I
good.
think we're going to get started with some installation here.
With this one?
Yeah, we'll go with the bigger one. Like I said, we're going to put some wheels and tires on this truck eventually. So.
Alright, step 1 on your truck is to measure it. Make sure you know your rake. You're going to put your tape measure at the bottom of the wheel, measure to the bottom of the fender opening. We have 32 1/4 on the front of this truck. And for the rear, we have 34 1/4. That gives you a 2-inch rake. So 2-inch front kit will level the truck up.
What are we going to do, Bill?
We're going to lift the truck
2 inches?
2 inches.
That makes me really happy.
We're actually going to go 3.
High five! Fully boxed frame.
All aluminum body.
So, another thing you should do, just to be safe, we always do it here because safety is middle name, first name, everything. Lock your rear wheels. Start there. Next.
So this is step 2. We're going to lift the truck up from the frame.
Alright guys, the next thing that we got to do is get the truck up in the air. We want to have the outside suspension to be hanging because we're going to be working over here, so we're going to be lifting right in the center of the frame. We're lucky enough to be on a lift here with an alignment rack. If you're doing this at home, just make sure that you're putting jack stands underneath the frame so that you're good and safe. So a little space under here, should be good to go. All right, next just gonna take the wheels off. Almost did this without glasses. Come on, almost like there's 1,500 miles on this truck. Just give you a general location where the kit goes. It goes up in here. Basically, you're just changing the top here to get your lift right in here. So that's where we're headed.
So we're going to put this underneath the control arm to give it some support as we start loosening up everything else above it.
This little bottle jack, hopefully you have one of these in your shop at home. You can use a floor jack as well. Whatever you have. Alright guys, I just wanted to show you a little bit you know, the quality of this product. I mean, when you hold this in your hand, you can see this is quality. You know, this is different than the way others are doing this. Most of them that you see is just kind of a, you know, Fargo put together piece of metal to make it go up, and that's not at all what Ryde does here. We have a piece that's completely adjustable. You know, when you get your truck done, if you don't like it exactly, we'll adjust it. That's the great thing, is it's exactly the way you want it, and that's really what we mean by that. It's exactly the way you want it. You put a snowplow on the front of your truck, you don't want it to sag, put this on and crank it up in the winter, crank it back down in the summer if you want to roll it out. This product is head and shoulders above anything else out on the market. It's just the way it is. Ryde.
Step number 4, we're going to go ahead and take off these this bracket here to make some slack for this arm to come down. This arm comes down, we won't be stretching these lines too much. Alright, next we're going to take off the sway bar link. Take apart this tie rod end. We're not going to loosen this all the way off right away. Just going to take it down. So there's just a few threads over the thread, and just do a nice tap up, come right out. Next we're going to go ahead and take off this nut right here. We're just going to loosen it down just so there's just a couple threads holding it on. Now you're going to use a pry bar, you put some pressure down on that, and finish taking off.
I got it.
That's it. Next step was we're going to remove this cap right here. Use the appropriate tool.
These can be kind of a bugger sometimes. There we go. 30-cent dust cap exposes the nut.
Here. The knuckle here. Just a little bit of separation between the axle and the knuckle.
All right, next we're going to take off the bottom strut mounts. Now we're going to take off these upper mounts. There's 3 of them. Fairly easy to get through on this truck, some of them not so much. Alright, got all 3 of those loose. Now we can get this out of here. Now we're going to lower everything down a little bit with the bottle jack, just to give us enough room to get this down and put our plate in. And then obviously be careful, watch your brake lines, make sure that you're not overextending them. Right, now we're going to remove this strut. Success. What we got
we got the Pro Ride kit straight out of the box. That's what we're going to do before we install it.
So it does come with the plate somewhat for packaging. This plate is not in the correct location.
That is correct. When you get your kit, make sure the bottom here is not down too far. If you try to install it in this position with the bottom piece down too far, it will friction fit against this right here, and then you won't be able to raise it or lower it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then it won't be exactly the way you want it.
No, it'll be stuck the way you don't want it.
So key, don't forget that, guys.
That's right. So when you go to install it, make sure you got a little bit of a space in there. This goes on there like this, and we're going to go ahead and zip it on. That's not a 15. Okay. 17 millimeter, we're going to go ahead and zip this down. Make sure this part spins before you go any further with the kit. If it doesn't spin, you need to undo all your bolts. Make sure it spins, spin this out, and then tighten it back on. Next, install your nylon spacer, then the top plate. Make sure you orient your studs correctly. This will help when you install. Then we have our locking nut. We don't want that super tight. We're just going to snug it and then back it off a little bit. Then we're going to go ahead and install the locking ring. Alright, make sure your kit's in the lowest position. That'll help you with the reinstallation.
Going. Coming through. Wait, you're using the wrong one. These three.
Again, I didn't take it off.
Yep, I did. So we'll just use these three until we find the other ones.
The ones you're supposed to use.
Oh.
Get this down far enough, you're going to want to disconnect your ABS wire from this bracket right here, and also from right here.
See that,
you can
John?
just push this, it's similar to that one. You just push it up, and it fell right out. It's hanging down, gives you a lot more slack. It's a nice little trick. Now we can pull this knuckle and arm assembly all the way down and get the bottom of the strut right in spot.
Let's do it. There it is.
Make sure this axle is in the right spot.
Coming back up. Here, I need 2 hands to pick it up. Can you hold that down?
Hold the axle.
Yep. And then I'll pick it up. Like that. Sean, give it easy. Film it all. Okay, now when we're going up, you want to make sure that your axle comes back together correctly. Maybe on the back side, Sean. See that? Yep. You're not. Can you get to the tip of it, or? Oh, here we are.
Little trick right here. You get this arm down as far as you can. Then you're going to want to jack up the bottom of the control arm.
Hold on.
Oh, let me get higher. Hang on, there we go. Beautiful.
They must all be the same. Let's see. The bar's not hooked up. Is that? Oh, that is good. That's that one.
Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and tighten this upper ball joint nut. We're just going to get it started up there. Then we're going to tighten the strut mount on the lower bottom. And we drive that.
She's only 17. 17. It's not a 17. 21. What is it? Sway bar in the bottom of the strut. How you doing on the top half?
Good. I got the top half all semi-tight, and we're going to go ahead and get these.
You know the torque spec on this?
All these little Christmas trees back on here.
Oh, Betsy. I can't get that one. That's for a tall guy.
And he finds the hole.
Beauty. And these are all tight?
No.
Nope. They don't feel tight.
No.
Oh, they're not tight. We're going to tighten those next. Where's the hat so that we don't get a glare? Otherwise we get a glare. That's why we wear it. Where's the hat? Otherwise there's a glare. I didn't mean to touch your hat. I know how that is. I can't.
You don't touch my hat radio, and you don't touch his hat.
Sorry. It was for demonstration purposes. I had to show what would happen without the hat. That back in. Voila.
Alright, if you don't have an impact gun, and actually on this one, you can't fit an impact gun on here, but if you could probably impact that up. But what we're going to do is we're going to hold this bottom part, an 8 mil, and we're going to crank this one tight. Once the taper is seated, it won't spin.
Very nice.
There you go. You just
Very
get
nice.
the bottom sway bar link to do.
Already done.
Bottom sway bar link is done.
Tighten.
Tighten.
Is it the one I did these?
Now we can loosen this top nut. Make sure that's loose. So when you go to adjust it, you're all ready to go. So this side's done. We'll put the wheel back on and go ahead and do the passenger side. All right, we got the wheel back on. We're going to lower the truck and then torque the wheel. There you have it. And then as always, torque your wheel, lugs, and a cross pack. There you go. Now we can measure this and we'll compare it to the back and we can adjust it as we want. So we're all done with the front kit on this Ford F-150. What do you think, Jeff?
Looks great, leveled out great. Really the only thing that can make it better would be a block in the rear and a little more height in the front, some wheel spacers.
Yeah, so what we have right here in the front, we just have it at its lowest setting at 2 inches. So we'll go ahead and crank that up to 3 inches and then we'll put a block in the back and see how it looks from there. But that's for another video. See you later.
That's a wrap. Need something to throw at you.